Hey guys, it's Jang here from UltimateRC.com, testing out the Traxxas Telluride 4x4 for the very first time. You can see that body is nice and shiny, doesn't have a single scratch on it. I will soon change that. It's a little more difficult than usual to set expectations for this vehicle because there aren't many precedents for what it's intended to do. It's trying to be a semi-scale, kind of rough and tumble four-wheel drive vehicle that's capable of doing light-duty kind of trail-style driving while still being able to be fast and fun. So here in this location, I'm trying out the fast and fun part of it just to see how fast it is and how stable it is just over a regular gravel surface. You know, nothing too fancy, nothing too high traction, just somewhere where you expect this to have no trouble at all. Now this is with the stock 7-cell nickel metal hydride battery pack, and you're going to see top speeds on level ground, not coming downhill, but when it's level, around 15 miles per hour, 1.5. And that's about the same as you'll see with a 2S LiPo battery. Compared to most RCs nowadays, that's really slow, unless you try to compare it to a normal scale driving vehicle or a trail truck with a set of solid axles on it, in which case this is really fast. Unfortunately, to me, the truck really didn't look that good driving at speed. Kind of bobbling around, looking pretty toyish, honestly. I'm going to try it on some rougher terrain here, so this is more of a construction site sort of scenario. It's really terrain that's better suited, I think, for getting the best shots, the best looking shots with this thing, where you get to see, you know, down a little bit closer to the ground, coming in and out of the ruts. This is really where you see that rough and tumble, fast driving, four-wheel drive, kind of rugged, realistic-ish kind of truck style, I guess. This was actually kind of fun. This was the most enjoyment that I had with the vehicle, all the different places that I drove it this first day that I had it. For me personally, for a semi-scale four-wheel drive vehicle, I want to be able to drive just like this. This is the speed that I expect, and this is roughly the handling that I expect. But I also expect it to be able to go nice and slow on even rougher terrain than that. So here we go, let's give it a shot. There's this nice little trough over here left by the side of where a grader went by, smoothing out kind of a driveway where they were doing some earth moving over here. This is just a perfect spot to do kind of scale style trail driving. You're going to see here that I'm having a lot of trouble in some spots, having to back out, having to use a lot of throttle to really get those tires to balloon up and try to catch on something and pull it forward. The truck doesn't have a whole lot of ground clearance, even though it's not sitting too low to the ground right now on the suspension. The tires just don't have that much diameter. The tires themselves are a little bit on the hard side, where they don't have very aggressive treads, and they don't deform at all. They have very hard sidewalls that don't really form over the terrain beneath them. And then finally, the diffs are open. It does have 100,000 weight silicone oil in the diffs, front and rear, out of the box, which is an improvement compared to what's normal for this platform, but still not thick enough. It still diffs out very easily, I found, even with these tires that don't have that much traction. I would have thought that there would have been a little bit better balance between the lack of traction from the tires and the lack of real locking in the diffs. It does get through this section, but not nearly as nicely as I would have liked. Now, for young kids, I think this is a perfect setup, like for our very first hobby grade RC. This is great. This is challenging, and you know, you're able to get through stuff. Kids aren't going to be afraid or feel bad about having to go in and pick it up every now and then being able to get out to a field like this and go full throttle. Oops, just a random piece of metal sticking out of the ground there. Being able to go full throttle, drift around in corners a little bit thanks to the lack of traction actually of those stock tires, and you know, kick up some dust like this. I think this is really good. But for adults, even for an adult like myself who is not a total speed freak and doesn't need everything to go 60 miles per hour, still not quite doing it for me. Now, I know that a lot of folks who don't have any experience with RC crawlers want to know how this thing would crawl. Ouch, that was my foot. I'll try that out in the next video.